Unless you live in the southern or Midwestern United States, you might not be familiar with Piggly Wiggly, but this largely forgotten brand actually invented the entire concept of the modern grocery store. Before 1917, grocery shopping was a tedious process where you handed a list to a clerk and they fetched the items for you. Then, Clarence Saunders came along and introduced the idea of self-service. He gave customers shopping carts, put price tags on every single item, and built the very first checkout stands. His ideas were wildly popular. Throughout the 1920s, Saunders aggressively expanded Piggly Wiggly across the country. He was an eccentric pioneer, but he was also highly effective at scaling his business into a national empire. By growing so rapidly, Saunders stopped being a simple local grocer. He was now running a major corporate machine, which inadvertently painted a massive target on his back for Wall Street. The trouble started in 1923. A couple of Piggly Wiggly franchises in New York failed, creating a brief but public perception that the rapidly expanding company might be vulnerable. This chart illustrates a bear raid. Financial speculators aggressively short-sold Piggly Wiggly shares, borrowing stock and selling it immediately, betting the value would drop. They deliberately created panic, battering the stock price downward to buy shares back later for pennies, pocketing the difference. Most executives facing this kind of attack would hunker down and try to weather the storm. Saunders was furious. Instead of playing defense, he decided to spring a trap and financially destroy the speculators who were trying to ruin his life's work. Driven by intense pride, Saunders escalated the situation. He turned a standard corporate crisis into a high-stakes, deeply personal vendetta against the financial establishment. To execute a market corner, Saunders took on massive debt, using loans to quietly buy up every available share of Piggly Wiggly stock. His execution was precise. By the time he finished, he had acquired 98% of all existing shares. By hoarding almost the entire supply of the company's stock, Saunders had secretly taken complete control of the game board. The short sellers had no idea they were walking into a closed loop. Remember the mechanics of short selling. To complete their trade, the Wall Street raiders were legally obligated to eventually buy those borrowed shares back. But when they went to the market to purchase them, they realized Saunders held 98% of the supply. They were legally forced to buy the shares directly from him, at whatever price he demanded. This chart shows the severity of the squeeze. Saunders intentionally drove the price from $39 up to $114 per share. He was deliberately pricing the raiders into ruin. Panic swept across the trading floor. The Wall Street speculators suddenly realized they were trapped in a mathematical certainty of inescapable debt. Mathematically and legally, Saunders had decisively beaten the sharpest minds in finance at their own game. But the speculators refused to accept the loss. Instead of paying up, they leveraged their elite institutional connections and appealed directly to the governing body of the stock exchange. Acting out of sheer self-preservation, the exchange stepped in and changed the rules mid-game. They granted the Wall Street raiders a massive, indefinite extension on their required payments. The purportedly free market was immediately suspended the exact moment an outsider used its own rules to beat the insiders. This extension exposed Saunders' fatal vulnerability. Because he had taken on massive, high-interest loans to buy up that 98% of shares, he simply could not afford to wait out the exchange's delay. The delay tactics worked exactly as intended. The mounting debt broke Saunders financially. He was forced to declare bankruptcy, which entirely stripped him of his ownership and control over Piggly Wiggly. If he had been allowed to collect his winnings, Piggly Wiggly had the head start and the operational framework required to become the dominant force in American retail. Instead, the brand faded into regional obscurity, and you likely navigate the aisles of giant retailers like Walmart, companies that rapidly filled the massive void Clarence Saunders left behind. It proves a cold reality about financial systems. Possessing the smartest strategy or even the best product isn't enough. True power belongs exclusively to those who have the authority to change the rules.